Hey, everybody. Hey, guys. Hey, very basic Bible. We're going to go through the book of Ruth. Still going through that. Yeah, we are. Share that screen. Let's go find. Make my face bigger. It's ugly, but deal with it. Okay. Go find that book of Ruth. Romans 8. Not a bad chapter, but we're going to go find Ruth. Romans, Ruth. Yeah, we both start with an R, followed by a vowel, end with a consonant. And basically the same book. Okay, whatever. Sorry. All right. Now, it's been like a month or more since I've recorded any Ruth Bible studies. So I'm just going to read chapters 1 through 4. I'm just going to read till we get back to chapter 4 and get up to speed, okay? Just going to read. I read in the good old, in this NABRE, okay? The NABRE, that's the book for me. I stand alone. There we go. Just gonna try to read. Near impossible for me, but let's see if I can actually do it. Once back in the time of the judges, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem of Judah left home with his wife and 2 sons to reside on the plateau of Moab. The man was named Elimelech, the wife Naomi, and his sons Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem of Judah. Sometime after their arrival on the plateau of Moab, Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. When they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion died also, and the woman was left with her 2 boys. And the woman was left with neither her 2 boys nor her husband. She and her daughters-in-law then prepared to go back from the plateau of Moab because word had reached her there that the Lord had seen to his people's needs and given them food. She and her 2 daughters-in-law left the place where they had been living. On the road back to the land of Judah, Naomi said to her daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's house. May the Lord show you the same kindness as you have shown to the deceased and to me. May the Lord guide each of you to find a husband and a home in which you will be at rest." She kissed them goodbye, but they wept aloud, crying, "No, we will go back with you to your people." Naomi replied, "Go back, my daughters. Why come with me? Have I other sons in my womb who could become your husbands? Go, my daughters, for I am too old to marry again, even if I had any such hope. Or if tonight I had a husband and were to bear sons, would you wait for them and deprive yourselves of husbands until they grew up? No, my daughters, my lot is too bitter for you, because the Lord has extended his hand against me." Again, they wept aloud. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. "See now," she said, "your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her God. Go back after her sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not press me to go back and abandon you. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there be buried. May the Lord do thus to me, and more, even if even death separates me from you." Naomi then ceased to urge her, for she saw she was determined to go with her. So they went on together until they reached Bethlehem. On their arrival there, the whole town was excited about them. And the women asked, "Can this be Naomi?" But she said to them, "Do not call me Naomi, sweet, but call me Mara, bitter, for the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why should you call me sweet, since the Lord has brought me to trial, and the Almighty has pronounced evil sentence on me?" Thus it was that Naomi came back with her Moabite daughter-in-law Ruth, who accompanied her back from the plateau of Moab. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Now, Naomi, over here, now Naomi had a powerful relative named Boaz through the clan of her husband Elimelech. Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, I would like to go and glean grain in the field of anyone who will allow me. Naomi said to her, Go ahead, my daughter. So she went. The field she entered to glean after the harvesters happened to be this after the field she went to glean after the harvesters happened to be the section belonging to Boaz, the clan of Elimelech. Soon along came Boaz from Bethlehem and said to the harvesters, The Lord be with you. And they replied, The Lord bless you. Boaz asked the young man overseeing his harvesters, Whose young woman is this? The young man overseeing the harvesters answered, She is the young Moabite woman who has come back with Naomi from the plateau of Moab. She said, I would like to gather the gleanings into sheaves after the harvesters. Ever since she came this morning, she has remained there until now with scarcely a rest. Boaz then spoke to Ruth, Listen, my daughter, do not go to glean in anyone else's field. You are not to leave here. Stay here with my young women. Watch to see which field is to be harvested and follow them. Have I not commanded the young men to do you no harm? When you are thirsty, go and drink from the vessel the young people have filled. Casting herself prostrate upon the ground, she said to him, Why should I, a foreigner, be favored with your attention? Boaz answered her, I have heard a complete account of what you have done for your mother-in-law after your husband's death. You have left your father and your mother and the land of your birth and have come to a people whom previously you did not know. Oops. May the Lord reward what you have done. May you receive a full reward from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come for refuge. She said, May I prove worthy of your favor, my Lord. You have comforted me. You have spoken to the heart of your servant, and I am not even one of your servants. At mealtime, Boaz said to her, Come here and have something to eat. Dip your bread in the sauce. Then as she sat near the harvesters, he handed her some roasted grain, and she ate her fill and had some left over. As she rose to glean, Boaz instructed his young people, Let her glean among the sheaves themselves without scolding her, and even drop some handfuls and leave them for her to glean. Do not rebuke her. She gleaned in the field until evening. And when she beat out what she had gleaned, it came to about an ephah of barley, which she took into the town and showed to her mother-in-law. Next, she brought out what she had left over from the mill and gave it to her. So her mother-in-law said to her, Where did you glean today? Where did you go to work? May the one who took notice of you be blessed. Then she told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked. The man at whose place I work today is named Boaz, she said. May he be blessed by the Lord, who never fails to show kindness to the living and to the dead, Naomi exclaimed to her daughter-in-law. She continued, This man is a near relative of ours, one of our redeemers. He even told me, added Ruth the Moabite, Stay with my young people until they complete my entire harvest. You would do well, my daughter, Naomi rejoined, to work with his young women, and who in someone else's field you might be insulted. So she stayed gleaning with Boaz's young women until the end of the barley and wheat harvests. Naomi said to her, My daughter, should I not be seeking a pleasing home for you? Now is not Boaz, whose young woman you have been working with, a relative of ours? This very night he will be winnowing at barley at the threshing floor. Now go bathe and anoint yourself. Then put on your best attire and go down to the threshing floor. Do not make yourself known to the man before he has finished eating and drinking, but when he lies down, take note of the place where he lies. Then go and cover a place at his feet, and you lie down. He will then tell you what to do. I will do whatever you say, replied Ruth. She went down to the threshing floor and did just as her mother-in-law had instructed her. Boaz ate and drank and to his heart's content and went to lie down at the edge of the pile of grain. She crept up and covered a place at his feet and lay down. Midway through the night, the man gave a start and groped about, only to find a woman laying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. She replied, "I am Ruth, your servant. Spread the wing of your cloak over your servant, for you are a redeemer." He said, "May the Lord bless you, my daughter. You have been even more loyal now than before in not going after the young men, whether rich or poor or rich. Now rest assured, my daughter, I will do for you whatever you say. All my townspeople know you to be a worthy woman. Now I am in fact a redeemer, but there is another redeemer closer than I. Stay where you are for tonight and tomorrow. If he will act as a redeemer for you, good. But if he will not, as the Lord lives, I will do it myself. Lie there until morning." So she lay at his feet until morning, but rose before anyone could recognize another, for Boaz had said, "Let it not be known that this woman came to the threshing floor." Then he said to her, "Take off your shawl you are wearing, hold it firmly." When she did so, he poured out 6 measures of barley and helped her lift the bundle. Then he himself left for the town. She, meanwhile, went home to her mother-in-law, who asked, "How did things go, my daughter?" So she told her all the man had done for her and concluded, "He gave me these 6 measures of barley and said, 'Do not go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed.'" Naomi then said, "Wait here, my daughter, until you learn what happens, for the man will not rest, but will settle the matter today." Boaz went to the gate and took his seat there. Along came the other redeemer of whom he had spoken. Boaz called to him by name, "Come sit here," and he did so. Then Boaz picked out 10 of the elders of the town and asked them to sit nearby. When they had done this, he said to their other redeemer, "Naomi, who is come back from the plateau of Moab, is putting up for sale the piece of land that belonged to our kinsman Elimelech. So I thought I would inform you. Before those here present, including the elders of my people, purchase the field, act as a redeemer. But if you do not want to do it, tell me so, that I may know. For no one has a right of redemption prior to yours, and mine is next." He answered, "I will act as redeemer." Boaz continued, "When you acquire the field from Naomi, you also acquire responsibility for Ruth the Moabite, the widow of the late heir, to raise up a family for the deceased on his estate." The redeemer replied, "I cannot exercise my right of redeemer, for that would endanger my own estate. You do it in my place, for I cannot." Now, it used to be the custom in Israel that to make binding a contract of redemption or exchange, one party would take off a sandal and give it to the other. This was the form of attestation in Israel. So the other redeemer, in saying to Boaz, "Acquire it for yourself," drew off his sandal. Boaz then said to the elders and to all the people, "You are witnesses today that I have acquired from Naomi all the holdings of Elimelech, Chilion, and Mahlon. I also acquired Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, as my wife, in order to raise up a family for her late husband on his estate, so that the name of the deceased may not perish from his people in his place. Do you witness this today?" All those at the gate, including the elders, said, "We do. May the Lord make this woman come into your house like Rachel and Leah, and between them build up the house of Israel." Who between them built up the house of Israel? "Prosper in Ephrathah, bestow a name of Bethlehem. With the offspring the Lord will give you from this young woman, may your house become like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah." Boaz took Ruth. When they came together as husband and wife, the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she bore a son. Then the women said to Naomi, "Blessed is the Lord who has not failed to provide you today with the Redeemer. May he become famous in Israel. He will restore your life and be the support of your old age, for his mother is a daughter-in-law who loves you." Excuse me. "She is worth more to you than 7 sons. Naomi took the boy, cradled him against her breast, and cared for him. The neighbor women joined the celebration. "A son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. These are the descendants of Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron. Hezron was the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nahshon. Nahshon was the father of Salma. Salma was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse. And Jesse became the father of David. Awesome. Okay, guys, that's the end of the book of Ruth. I gotta take a break after that. All right. Now, if you remember where we left off last time, maybe it was a long time ago, but you are probably watching this. I mean, maybe you've taken a break. I don't know. Maybe you just watched the previous one. Nobody watches my videos. I got like 7 views on one of them. I had one with like 40 views, but it's a sermon, I think. That's it, that I did a long time ago. Anyway, if you're watching and you remember anything, all right, right here, verse 12. Now, I don't go verse by verse. Read one verse, explain it. Read the next verse, explain it. Read the next. We go concept by concept, idea by idea. Hey, one second. Let me There's my desktop. Where's the very basic Bible right there? Awesome. Quick read. Want to follow up? There's those. Yeah. One. How many I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then Father Stephen DeYoung on YouTube. But that's the same. Okay, so you want, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Old and New Testament. 6. 6, very good. You're like BJ. I'm not sure if I trust you or not. Okay, these guys, super smart, been doing it forever, been study. It's their job. Some of them got doctor degrees and stuff like that. They know what they're talking about. Obviously, I do not agree with or endorse everything said by all the recommended sites. They merely represent the best large assortment of very basic verse by verse teaching I know. If anyone has any recommendations, let me know. Yep. All right, here we go. Let's go down. Lectionary, Bible, other scriptures used, other topics, basic Bible study, Bible book study. Okay. All right. Now, we don't necessarily go verse by verse. Instead, we try to go idea by idea, concept by concept. Right? All right. So, story by story, maybe even, because we looked at, where is it at? Let's go up here. We looked at Rachel and Leah, who built the house between them, up the house of Israel. We looked that up. Prosper and Ephrathah. We looked up Ephrathah. Bestow a name in Bethlehem. We looked up Bethlehem. Did we look up a name? Bestow a name in Bethlehem? Let's look up name. Go to Bible Gateway, type in Control-V, name. Let's see if we can find something that matches, not just the word name. Like, look at this. The name of the first river, the name of the first is Pishon. It flows around the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. We should find Pishon and Havilah. You see the name of the river. It's just the name of a river. It's just, the name of the second river. You see 2:11, Genesis 2:11, Genesis 2:13. I think 2:12 says Havilah is where the good gold is. Like, compared to all that bad gold somewhere else. The name of the third river is Tigris. See 2:4. So that's the river. Yep. Pishon, Gihon, Tigris. See first. Okay, but that's just okay. But is that the same? It's just the river has a name. What are we going to call this river? We'll call this the South River because it's to the south of my house, right? And you go to a river that's got lots and tons of bass fish everywhere, so you just call it bass. Or hey, we named this river Pishon because the Pishon family lived there. Why did they name it Pishon? I don't know. But here, is that what this is talking about here? Bestow a name in Bethlehem. All right. I acquire Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, as my wife, in order to raise up a family for her late husband on his estate. So he's going to raise up a family for her. He's going to acquire her. So that the name of the deceased may not perish from his people in his place. I want to acquire Ruth the Moabite as my widow to raise up a family for her husband, so that the name of the deceased, who is the deceased? Elimelech. So his name doesn't perish from his place and his people. We know he's doing it to Ruth because he loves Ruth and to be good to Ruth. I'm guessing he also loves and cares about Elimelech and his name. Hey, we don't want his name to perish. I'm going to look up, okay? We don't want it to go away. I'm going to look this up real quick. I've looked it up before multiple times. Try to get at this concept of name. I see at least two, I think. Okay. Anyway. Zelophehad. Is that how you spell it? Zelophehad. Zelophehad. Let's see. Okay, so the law of inheritance. Whole chapter. All right, so Boaz just acquired, right? This is Romans 8. Yeah, let's go to Ruth so I don't keep getting confused. Ruth. Baby Ruth is a baseball player. Babe Ruth. Baby Ruth is a candy bar. Baby Ruth candy bar. Babe Ruth from The Sandlot. The movie. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Chapter 4. Babe Ruth? I thought it was some girl. The Sultan of Swat, the great Bambino. Here we go. So they have this thing. I yield my right of kinship, for I am not obliged to cut off the posterity of my own family. Okay. So I want you to hear this and to tell you in front of everyone sitting here, including the elders of my people, if you will take possession of. Okay, but Boaz calling aside 10 men here. Let's see. They said, Naomi, who has returned from the region of Moabite, is selling part of her field of our brother Elimelech. Okay. I wanted you to hear this and to tell you in front of everyone sitting here, including the elders of my people, if you will take possession of it by right of kinship, buy it and possess it. But if it displeases you, should reveal this to me, so that I will know what I have to do. For there is no near kinsman besides you who is before me, and I am after you. He answered, I will buy it. So he's making a transaction. Hey, buy the field. I'm the next kinsman. You're the first. You're the first. I'm the second. You get to buy it first. The dude said, I'll buy it. Boaz, when you buy in the field, you're likewise obliged to accept the hand of the woman Ruth the Moabite, who was the wife of the deceased, so that you may raise up the name of your near kinsman through his posterity. All right. You're going to raise up the name of Elimelech through Ruth. Look over here. You must acquire the widow of the deceased in order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance. Okay. Right here. You should know that when you buy the land from Naomi, I will take her dead son's widow to be my wife. Oh. You should know that when you buy the land, that's strange. Why do they translate that way? I will take her dead son's widow to be my wife. Then any child she has will inherit the land, and it will stay in the family of her dead husband. Every other Bible translation says, like, look at this. On the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must buy it also from Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead on his inheritance. You must buy it from Ruth. These are different. The NIRV, watch this. When you buy the property from Naomi, you must also marry Ruth. She is from Moab and is the dead man's widow. You must marry her. That's because his property must continue to belong to his family. Or, when buying the field, you are likewise obliged to accept the hand of the woman Ruth the Moabite, so that you may raise up the name of your near kinsman through his posterity. You got to marry her. Here, you got to marry her. You got to take his name. The day you acquire the field from the hand of Naomi, you are also acquiring Ruth the Moabite. Okay, when you get Naomi, you're getting Ruth. When you get the land, Elimelech's land from Naomi, you're also getting Elimelech's widow, Ruth the Moabite. On the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must also buy it from Ruth the Moabite, the wife of the dead, to perpetuate the name of the dead through his inheritance. You must buy it through Ruth. But all the other, like, let's look at this one. You must also acquire the widow of the deceased in order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance. You are also acquiring Ruth the Moabite, the widow of the dead man, to maintain the dead man's name on his inheritance. Now, over here, it seems he's saying, I am going to take Ruth, you're going to take the land. Now, this is this ERV, easy to read translation. This is how they've gone with this. You should know that when you buy the land, I'm going to take Ruth. We're going to have babies. Any child she has will inherit the land that you just bought. So, hey, you can buy this land, sure, but when I have babies with Ruth, they get your land because they have the right of redemption. There's that whole year of Jubilee thing. Let's look at that real quick. It's been a little while since we looked at it, I believe. Full chapter, sabbatical year Jubilee. Control F, 50. No, not that, 50. Okay, maybe 49. Would you stop that? Wait, it's going to show. Okay, we're going to, don't worry. All right, we're just going to kind of read kind of quickly. Okay. When you come in the land which I'm going to give to you, then the land shall have a Sabbath to the Lord. For 6 years you shall sow your field, and for 6 years you shall prune your vineyard and gather in its produce. But during the 7th year, the land shall have a Sabbath rest. Okay. So every 7th year, one Sabbath rest for a whole year. You shall not reap your harvest after growth. You shall not gather your grapes of the untrimmed vines. The land shall have a sabbatical year. All of you shall have the Sabbath produce of the land as food for yourself, your male and female slaves, and your hired worker, and your foreign resident, those who live as strangers among you. Even your cattle and the animals that are in your land shall have its produce to eat. So 1 year, you're not going to prune it. You're not going to trim it. You're just going to eat whatever it produces. Whatever it produces, that's what you're going to eat. That's the trust in God. You're not going to go out there and sow. It doesn't say not to sow grain, but it says you shall prune for 6 years, but during the 7th year, let it have a Sabbath. Don't sow your field. Okay, you're not going to sow seeds. Don't prune the vineyard. You're not going to cut the dead leaves off and cut the dead branches off so that the vibrant branches grow bigger with more grapes. You're not going to go out there and probably not going to go till the land and water it and sow seed. You're just going to let it grow naturally. You're trying to trust in God, right? You shall not reap your harvest after growth. You shall not gather the grapes of your untrimmed vine. Don't do that. Instead, just go out there and grab it and eat it. You're not going to do any special farming stuff. You're just going to trust that God's going to give you what and then you're just going to, it should be natural. God wants things to be natural. There's another time it says, when you build an altar to the Lord, use uncut stones straight from the earth. Don't let a hammer hit it. Why? Natural, be natural. God wants them to be, don't be getting all technologicalized on me now. Is technology bad? Not necessarily. Okay, but God is the God of the earth and creation. That's kind of my guess as to why. God wants them to trust in him. Don't trust in your own strength by chiseling, you know, stones to make just a perfect altar. No, trust in me. Just grab stones and just make an altar. Okay. Grab the food I give you here every 7th year. So 6 years, then a 7th sabbatical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 7th year sabbatical. You are also to count every Sabbath of years for yourself. 7 Sabbaths of years. 7 times 7th years, so that you have the time of the 7th Sabbath. That is 49 years. Okay. 49 years. Count 7 Sabbaths of years. 7, what does it say? 7 Sabbaths of years. That's kind of a strange way to say it. But in other words, 49 years. You shall then sound a ram's horn abroad on the 10th day of the 7th month. Why not the 7th day of the 7th month? On the day of atonement, you shall sound a horn through your land. You shall consecrate the 50th year and proclaim a release throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you, and each of you shall return to his own property. Each of you shall return to his family. Release. You're released from wherever you're at. You get to go home where you were. If you're a hired servant over here, if you're working for someone's farm over there, if someone owns your land, guess what? You're released and you get to go back to it. You get to go home to your land. Each of you shall return to his family. You shall have the 50th year of the Jubilee. You shall not sow, nor harvest its growth, nor gather grapes from its untrimmed vine. It's the year of Jubilee. It shall be holy to you. You shall eat its produce from the field. Just go out there and have a good time. Don't go out there with your cutting tools. Don't be harvesting. Just, hey, food time. Go out to the food and eat. A whole year? Yeah, your field. You get to go back to your field. Someone else has your field. You get to go to it. Well, where did they go? They go to their field. You're giving everything back. On this year of Jubilee, each of you shall return to his property. Furthermore, if you make a sale to your friend or buy from your friend's hand, you shall not wrong one another. Corresponding to the number of the years after the Jubilee, you shall buy from your friend. He is to sell to you according to the number of crops. In proportion to a greater number of years, you shall increase its price. In proportion to a fewer years, you shall decrease its price, because it is a number of crops that he is selling to you. Okay. You're not just going to go and take his land. No. You're going to go buy the land back. Pretty cool, huh? I believe that's what it's saying. I think. Don't be wronging one another, but you shall fear the Lord. I am the Lord your God. You get to go back to your land. You get to buy it back. But then somebody's going to come to the land that you were just on. They're going to buy it from you. Someone's going to come to that land to buy theirs. And they're going to buy, and everybody's going to go back to their original land. It's pretty cool, huh? Okay, sorry. All right. Jubilee, Leviticus 25. This might be the 25, 27. Yeah, look. If he consecrates his field as of the year of Jubilee, according to your assessment, it shall stand. The assessment. So you're not going to wrong anybody. You're going to sell it. After the Jubilee, however, the priest shall calculate the price. So the priest is going to calculate the price for you. When it reverts in the Jubilee, the field shall be holy to the Lord. Okay. And tribe, so the inheritance will be drawn. So there's another Jubilee they're talking about in Numbers. Okay, guys. So we get the point of the year of Jubilee. Over here. Wait, what did I? Okay. Let's close that one. Right here, Boaz says, you should know that when you buy the land from Naomi, I will take her dead son's widow, Ruth the Moabite, to be my wife. Okay, that's fine. He's gonna take. It says, or you must take the dead man's widow, Ruth the Moabite, to be your wife. But let's say Boaz takes Ruth. Okay, then any child she has will inherit the land. Why? We know one reason. The year of Jubilee, the land that this guy buys, this unnamed person that buys Naomi's field, is going to go back to the owner. Well, the owner's not there. So who does it go back to? The closest relative. That would be Ruth's son. And it will stay in the family of her dead husband. The other man answered, then I cannot buy it. I don't want to risk losing my own property. You buy the land. I can't do it. So, hey, dude, if you're going to marry her, you're going to get the land anyway. Why am I buying it? I'm just going to leave it here. You buy it. That is what this English, easy to read version goes with. Okay. I've never noticed this before because used to I just looked at 7 translations. But then I started doing more translations. I got these 14. Got 14. So I never noted that's their take on it, right? There's a little note right here. It does say, or you must take the dead man's widow, Ruth the Moabite, to be your wife. And in that case, if Boaz has a baby with Ruth, then eventually the baby gets the land from the unnamed person. So unnamed person's like, oh, I bought this property. Now I got to give it to Ruth's son. If the man takes Ruth as a wife, then they have a son. That son will be for not Boaz, obviously. It won't be for the unnamed man. It will be for Elimelech. The son is Elimelech's son. Remember, when a husband dies and the lady's got no kids, the brother has relations with the wife. Then the wife's son is for the original brother. Remember that. You got Fred, and you got Ted, and you got Ned. Fred dies, okay? And Elizabeth got no son. Fred, Ted, and Ned. Fred dies, Elizabeth got no son. Ted now has a baby with Elizabeth. That baby is Ted's son. Fred's son. Fred, Ted, and Ned. Oh my goodness. I'm being so confusing, aren't I? Yeah. So it'd be like, I don't know, if the Ninja Turtles got married, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, they got married. Leonardo gets married. He's the first, then he dies. So one of the turtles goes into, who's the next one? Donatello. Donatello has a baby turtle, but that baby turtle is Leonardo's. Oh my goodness. This is weird. It's strange. What are some other brothers? There's a movie called Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. The first brother was Adam. The second was, they named them all biblical names. Like the second might have been Boaz. C was, I'm not sure. C, D, E. I remember E was Ephraim and F was Frank for frankincense. A, B, C, D, E, F. And then there was G. Gideon was the last one, I think. So let's say Adam has a wife, because Adam goes off. He leaves his 6 brothers and he goes off to town and he actually gets a wife. Let's say they have a son. They don't have a son and Adam dies. The next one, the boy whose name starts with a B, would have to go to Adam's wife, have a baby. That baby would be Adam's son and would get everything that Adam would have gotten. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Try watching that movie. So if Boaz has the son, then in the year of Jubilee, he gets to go back to the field. If the man takes Ruth and has a baby with her, that son is Elimelech's son, so the field still goes to Elimelech either way. So here it seems to be saying Boaz is going to take Ruth, then the son will get the field. So it's like, why even buy the land in the first place? Here, on the day you buy, so that's the ERV. Here, so the thing that remains constant is this. Elimelech is dead. When Ruth has a baby with whoever, that baby will be Elimelech's, and Elimelech will eventually get the property. So how does that work? How does Elimelech eventually get the property? Gets it through Ruth's son. Ruth has a son through either the unnamed man or through Boaz. Okay. Ruth has a son through the unnamed man or Boaz. Whether the son comes through the unnamed man or through Boaz, the son is Elimelech's son, and Elimelech then gets the property. Elimelech's dead. That's how you raise up a name in order to raise up the name of the deceased on the inheritance. In order to raise it, that right? The end of verse 5. We're talking about verse 5. That's the end of verse 5. In the NRSVP. You are also requiring Ruth the Moabite, the widow of the dead man, to maintain the dead man's name on his inheritance. So whether the unnamed man acquires the son, the wife, and has a son with Ruth, or Boaz requires the wife and has a son, that son will be Elimelech's son and will get the field. So even Boaz doesn't get the field. Boaz will have a son with Ruth and not get that field. Boaz is going to buy this field and it's not even going to be his. It's going to be Elimelech's. But Boaz is from the line of Elimelech. And in fact, this redeemer, this unnamed man, it's from the line of Elimelech anyway, right? So it's like, it'll stay in the family name of Elimelech. But then there's the more specific family name of Boaz. But then there's the even more specific family name of this unnamed man. It's kind of like Abraham. He's the main guy. God called him first. Very first. God calls Abraham way back when. I forgot to look at what time I started. We'll see what happens. We'll go for like 30 more minutes. God called Abraham. No, not 30 minutes, a little less. God calls Abraham, right? Abraham has a son named Isaac. Isaac has a son named Jacob. Okay, now Abraham had other sons, but the name goes to Isaac. Isaac had other sons, but the name goes to Jacob. Isaac had Jacob and Esau. The name, the inheritance goes to Jacob. Jacob has 21, is that 12? 12 sons. There's 12 in sign language, is American Sign Language. Something like that. Yeah. 12 sons. Which one of them gets the inheritance? Well, there's Simeon first, Levi second, Judah third. Simeon loses the inheritance. Levi loses. Is it Simeon and Judah? Let's just go look at it real quick. Instead of guessing, what chapter is it? I don't recall. Jacob, Leah, Rachel. 29. So he had relations, and indeed he loved Rachel more than Leah. So Jacob called Leah and his flock and field. Jacob meets Esau. So it's probably chapter 34. Full chapter. There's when he meets Esau. Jacob settles in Shechem. Okay, let's see. The treachery of Jacob's not done it. Oh, wait, they've already had sons. Oh, yeah, duh. Started having sons a long time ago. Duh, before all this. Jacob's fear of Esau. Don't worry. The sons of Jacob. Okay. Here we go. Jacob meets Rachel. Okay. Laban's treachery. Yep. All right. Now the Lord saw that Leah was unloved. He opened her womb, but Rachel was unable to have children. Leah conceived and gave birth to a son and named him Reuben. I said Simeon, Reuben. For she said, because the Lord has seen my affliction, surely now my husband will love me. Then she conceived again and gave birth to a son. Because the Lord has heard that I am unloved, he has therefore given me a son. So she named him Simeon. She conceived again and gave birth to a son. So Leah, 3 sons. Rachel, no sons. God saw that Leah was unloved, right? Now the Lord saw that Leah was unloved. So he opened her womb, but Rachel wasn't able to have children. Leah's saying, hey, I'm loved now. And she conceived and gave birth to a son and said, now this time my husband will become attached to me because I've borne him 3 sons, Levi. Oh, wait. And she conceived again and gave birth to a son. And this time, and said, "This time I will praise the Lord." Therefore, she named him Judah. Then she stopped having children. Fourth sentence. Judah is the fourth. The line goes through Judah, right? If we go look at, the law, that's right. Yeah. 1 second. We can look at Matthew and Luke. Okay, here we go. The record of genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So we're trying to get to Jesus ultimately. Everything in the Bible points to Jesus. Did they know that in Ruth? No. But we're talking about who does the line go through. Okay, a single person, one person, multiple people. Okay. Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, son of Abraham. Abraham fathered Isaac. Isaac fathered Jacob. Jacob fathered Judah and his brothers. Judah fathered Perez and Zerah. Perez fathered Hezron. So you can see Judah had 12 brothers, but there's a name for all 12 brothers, but there's a very special name that goes through Judah. Judah fathered Perez and Zerah. Okay, Perez and Zerah. But there's a very special one that goes to Perez. Now, Zerah, he had sons. He wants his own name. What if he was barren? What if his wife was barren? Be like, oh no, he would want sons to carry on his name too, Zerah. So there's two names. There's a specific one, Perez, but then there's also Zerah. Okay. That's what we're getting at. Solomon fathered tons of kids, and each of them had a name that they would pass on, a family name that they would pass on, right? But then Solomon, there's a more specific name above Solomon. David eventually goes all the way back to Abraham. Abraham had tons of sons. Each of them had a name, right? Over here, a name that passed on. So Boaz wants to pass on his name. The unnamed man, he wants to pass on his name. He said, hey, if this kid that I have with Ruth or whatever, if Ruth's kid gets my inheritance and it goes to Elimelech, then it's not coming to me. Now, in a sense, it is, because Elimelech, this man is a relative of Elimelech. So he is in Elimelech's family, just like he is a son of Jacob, a son of Abraham, right? In a sense, it does. But as it gets more specific, as you go up, everybody is related to each other. As you go back in time, right? So Boaz and the unnamed man are related to Elimelech. Okay, so the son and Boaz and the unnamed man, as you go back in time, will be related to Elimelech, who is related to whoever, eventually to Judah, or eventually to Jacob, eventually to Isaac and Abraham. But as you go forward in time, this man, this unnamed man, wants to establish his own name. He has a kid, and that property goes to that kid. That could jeopardize him having his name continued. He wants to have a kid and have property and give property in his name. He's an unnamed. We don't know his name, but he wants to give it his name. Even though Elimelech, if you go back in time, is his name overall, when you go forward in time, it will be Elimelech. It will not be this man. This man will remain unnamed. And you know what's funny about history? We don't know the man's name. He's unnamed here in Ruth. He didn't get his name passed on anyway. How ironic is God? 1 second, guys. Stand up a moment. Adjust my shorts. How ironic is God? I have been neglecting and forgetting scriptures used. I looked at Genesis 2 with the Pishon name. I looked at Leviticus 25 with the year of Jubilee. I looked at Leviticus 27 for a second, I guess we read the whole book of Ruth. The whole all 4 chapters. I'm petting my cat. I'm sorry. He's just so fluffy. He's so fluffy. If I pick him up, he get mad. Here we go. Oh, you don't like it. He said no. No. Oh, yeah, it's not so bad, is it? It's not so bad. He really wants to get down. Uh-oh, the blanket fell. Oh no. Here, kitty. Don't get on the chair yet. I got to put the blanket back. Yeah, go over there and stuff. So that's how it. That's how all these redemption laws be and stuff, you know. Name. That's what the whole name thing is. I was gonna look up the name thing, you know. Here, let's go look at the very first. All right, numbers. Okay, let's go back here. Census of a new generation. We're gonna take a census to count the people. Okay, to take a census of the people, and this is kind of for war, so you know how many fighting men there are. Oftentimes, because it often say there were X amount of men fit for battle. Okay. Also, you take a census kind of for genealogical purposes to prove that my father's this person, his father is this person, his father is this person. He was related to Abraham. Okay, good. I can trace my name back to Abraham. Control F, Zell. There we go. The sons of Joseph by their families, Manasseh and Ephraim. Joseph had two kids, Manasseh and Ephraim. The sons of Manasseh, of Machir, the family of the Machirites, of Machir, and Machir fathered Gilead, of Gilead, the family of the Gileadites. See, Gilead is related and it will pass on the name of Joseph. Because Joseph through Manasseh. Okay, so Joseph, the sons of Manasseh, sons of Machir, Machir the Gilead, Gilead. Yep. Here you go. Eliezer father's Helek. So eventually Helek could trace his name all the way back to Joseph. But if Helek had a son with someone else for his brother, instead of it being eventually in Helek's name, closer tied to Helek's name, it would be tied to Helek's brother's name. And it's like, who cares? Well, it's very important to them. They obtained, quote unquote, immortality. They obtained by having their name being passed on. They didn't want to be forgotten. That was a big thing to them. Don't forget. Don't forget. That's why God's always saying, don't forget me. Don't forget me. That's one reason why we don't want to forget about the name of the Lord. People didn't want their names to be forgotten from history. That's the way they passed on their name, their family name for honor and stuff. Today, does it matter to me? Not really. Does it matter to you? Probably not. You care less, you know? Have some kids, get them off to college or get them a good job or whatever, you know, have a good life, love God, love people. Hey, pray, raise his name on high. His is the name above all names. Who cares about our name? But back then, that they were still in that mindset, their name to be passed on. Now Zelophehad, right? Oh, okay. So you got family Manasseh and Ephraim, son of Manasseh, Machir, son of Gilead, Eliezer, family of the Ezerites, of Helek, the family of the Helekites, of Asriel, the family of the Asrielites, of Shechem, the family of the Shechemites. There are multiple people named Shechem. There are multiple people named Jacob, multiple people named probably Shemida. I mean, yeah. So if you're like Shechem, that's the Shechem in the Bible. There's a lot of Shechems, I bet. And of Shemida, the family of Shemaites. Oh, wait. Shechem, the family of the Shechemites. The sons of Manasseh. So these are all the sons of Manasseh. Machir, the family of Machirites. Machir fathered Gilead. The sons of Gilead. Ezer, the family of the Ezerites, of Helek, the family of Helekites. So these are all the sons of Gilead. So these are all Gileadites. But there are also, Asriel is a Gileadite, but he family the Asrielites. The Asrielites would be Gileadites, who would also be Machirites, who would also be Manassites, who would be Josephites, who would be Judahites, who would be Judeans. would be eventually be Isaacites, Abrahamites, everybody's related to everybody. But they wanted their own name anyway. Isn't that weird? All right. Now Zelophehad, Shemaiah family. Shemaiah's Heifer, the family of Heferites. Zelophehad, the son of Heifer, had no sons, only daughters. You pass on the family name of who? The son. I've been saying you want to pass on your name. You want to pass on your name. Only men. I know. How sexist is that? Were they sexist? No, they saw it as a normal everyday thing. That's just what they did. Only pass on the name of the man. I mean, that's just what they did. Zelophehad had no sons. Their daughters are going to get married off. Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. The names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They're going to get married off to someone else. Their inheritance, Zelophehad, will disappear. But you would think, let me think. You would think that their son, if that's the case, would go to, no. The Zelophehad needs a son because the daughters, well, anyway, let's go to the next chapter. Then the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Heifer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the family of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, came forward. We just read all that. And they came forward. These are the names of his daughters, Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, Tirzah. They stood before Moses, before Eleazar the priest, before the leaders and all the congregation at the entrance to the tent of meeting, saying, this is important. They're before Noah. They're before, there is a daughter named Noah. They're before Moses. They're before the priest. Eleazar, I bet, is a high priest. All the leaders, all the congregation, the entrance of the tent of meeting where God would meet with Noah, God would meet with Moses. Okay, there's Noah's Ark, but this is well after that. Noah happens to be the name of a daughter. Okay, that's fine. Multiple people in the Bible have the same names. So these daughters are standing before not only Moses and the priests, all the people, even the tent of meeting where God would meet with Moses. God would, okay, they're like, this is serious. Okay. Our father died in the wilderness, yet he was not among those who gathered together against the Lord in the group of Korah, but he died in his own sin, had no sons. He didn't rebel. He wasn't with Korah who rebelled. No. He died in his own sins. He had no sons. Why should the name of our father be withdrawn from among his family simply because he had no son? The girls inherit no property. When they get married off to a husband, who inherits the property? The husband's son. Zelophehad gets no property. His name will be gone forever. Why should the name of our father be withdrawn from among his family simply because he had no son? The name of our father. The name is important. They want the name. Give us property among our father's brothers. So Moses brought their case before the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, the daughters of Zelophehad are right about their statements. You shall certainly give them hereditary property among their father's brothers. Give among their father's brothers. So Zelophehad has brothers. They all got land. They pass on the land to their sons. No sons for Zelophehad. So along with the brothers who pass on the land to their son, Zelophehad gets to pass on the land to his daughters. Pretty cool. Further, you shall speak to the sons of Israel, saying, if a man dies and has no son, then you shall transfer his inheritance to his daughter. And if he has no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. So usually it goes to the first male. Usually it would go to the brother. But then the original brother, their name is gone. So God's saying, they got no son, who's the first male, you give it to the brother who's, nope. If you got no son, you don't give your property to your brother. If you got no son, you give your property to your daughter, but she's not a man. Hey, look, you shall certainly give them hereditary property among their father's brothers. But God, you can't. God can't do what? It's God. God can do whatever he wants. This was probably groundbreaking. They were like, what? A daughter is gonna get. I'm guessing that they would have been like, he is God. I guess he can do that. That's my guess. Maybe stuff like this has happened before. Maybe they've heard of this. Maybe like, well, in some place we've heard of this, but not in Israel. I mean, Israel's still kind of a young nation. Maybe this has happened. I mean, this seems to be the first time it's happened in Israel. At least people brought it before Moses. So at least in the nation of Israel, which is still not like a full-fledged nation necessarily, at least they have, this is the first time for them. It's pretty cool, ain't it? His father has no brothers. You shall give inheritance to his nearest relative in his own family. He shall take possession of it. Why? You trying to keep the family name. If you don't have your name, you at least give it to somebody else in the family because they're related to the name. You want the name. That's just what they want. So over here, if Boaz gets married to Ruth, Ruth is going to get the property anyway, come year of Jubilee, or just inherit some weird inheritance rights. I'd think in the year of Jubilee. In the year of Jubilee, Ruth's son gets to go to this unnamed man and say, hey, guess what? It's mine now. He might be like, well, no, it was Elimelech's. Yeah, but I inherited Elimelech's. No, and then they might argue back and forth. But here, on the day, this translation, though, on the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must buy it also from Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead. You buy it from her. And whoever gets married to Ruth, raise up the dead name of the dead on his inheritance. Yep. You must also marry Ruth. This one says you must marry Ruth, right? Listen, if you get the field, you must also marry Ruth. That's because his property must continue to belong to his family. You must marry her. Why is the property going to continue? Because you're going to have a baby with her, and that baby's going to be Elimelech's baby, and it's going to be Elimelech's field. Yep, not yours. No. It'll be yours in that you're related to Elimelech, but not directly. Where is it at? You were likewise obliged to the hand. Yeah. On the day you buy the land, on the day you buy the land from Naomi and also from Ruth the Moabitess, you must also acquire the widow, Ruth the Moabitess, of the deceased, in order to raise up the name of the deceased on his inheritance. The kinsman redeemer replied, I cannot redeem it myself, or I would jeopardize my own inheritance. Take my right of redemption because I cannot redeem it. Okay. The man's name doesn't continue anyway. Funny God. So that's the whole name thing. Okay, one aspect. I told you I think there's two. And let's look at the name. Where was that? A name. Bestow a name. That was one aspect of the name. And you're probably still confused. What does that have to do with anything? That's one aspect of it. Okay. Next time, we'll talk about a second aspect of it. But for now, since it's been at least an hour, we can go ahead and call it quits. And I will see you guys. Yeah, go ahead and call it quits. I'll see you guys in the next Very Basic Bible. Wait. 9/28/23. Why does it say 9? 9 hours? All right. I'm not sure. 9/28/23. How long has it been recording? All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and pray real quick. With my cat meow sitting in my lap. Lord God, I love you very much. I praise your name on high. I only want your name to go. I only want your name to be there. I don't want to worry about my rights. I don't want to worry about myself. You are awesome. You are holy. You have given all of us a name. And we want to praise the name above all names of Jesus Christ, who died for our sins. He came down and lived for us. He's raised for us. He's now living for us. He's our leader. He's our name. Thank you, Lord. Amen. See you guys on the next Very Basic Bible.